My name is Kwabena Chencheheniboat and you're welcome to News Today. Now, the family of Michael Darko, a 30-year-old man who was shot and killed during a demolition exercise at Kaswa Millennium City, is calling for an independent inquiry into the death of their relative. Their call comes at the back of a military inquiry that has cleared some 23 soldiers of any wrongdoing for their roles in the shooting and killing at Kaswa Millennium City last year. The investigation concluded that the soldiers were only defending themselves when they shot at 3 people during the demolition exercise by the 21st Century Construction Company. My colleague Joseph Opogako has more.
Where I find myself now is where all the action happened. The clash between some of the residents in this community and the military persons who had come around to supervise the demolition of some of the houses. The demolished structure that you see here and a number of others in the community did not happen easily. It actually cost the life of 1 resident and 3 others were left injured as a result of this particular incident. Well, the residents here are not happy that the military persons are insisting that their men who supervised the demolition exercise did absolutely nothing wrong when they shot at some of the residents.
My name is Dr. Rufai Ahmed. I'm the chairman of Gomweniano Development Association, a committee that is supposed to work for the residents and the military. Should have been a composition of the military and also the residents and maybe the police, so that there will be a very fair distance, so that everybody's view will be captured. But unfortunately, we were not contacted. The residents were not contacted. The family of the deceased were not contacted.
Chaotic scenes there from the incident on the 3rd of September last year. 2 people were shot in the leg and one, Michael Darko, aged 30, was hit in the head. He died later at the Kwalibu Teaching Hospital. A copy of the autopsy report signed by Dr. L. Edusei, which Joy News has intercepted, gave 2 reasons for the death: high-velocity gunshot injury and fractured skull with cerebral convulsion. Military police sources say the soldiers returned from the operation having spent 10 bullets. They told investigators they were in the area to maintain order, but the crowd attacked them with sticks and stones. They responded with fire because they were, quote, frightened. They feared they would have been lynched if they had not acted. Head of Public Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces, Colonel Eric Agrikwashi, tells Joy News the residents were incited against the soldiers.
Do you know that particular incident? Joy FM went to lay ambush for us. Joy FM knew that the soldiers were going there. And so why would Joy FM go and lay ambush for military people?
We actually got the hints and then we rushed to the scene. Not that we laid ambush.
You were there even before. Yes. So you see, we also do our own investigations and we found out that you went to lay ambush for us. So you even were preempting that these soldiers will come and misbehave. So even when they go there, somebody could even instigate them because they were trying so against them. But that one, nobody reported that.
So the investigations have shown that they were really not responsible for any bad acts. Actually.
No, the people went there to perform a duty, and there were exchanges.
And the personnel who are responsible are still within the service. No action has been taken against them.
No, if I send somebody to go and perform a duty, and something goes wrong, what sort of action do I have to? I can't dismiss them from the service because if they have not asked them to go and perform the duty, that incident would have happened. So you can't dismiss them from the armed forces. But you look at it, if there were excesses, yes, then you punish them accordingly. But the type of punishment the media is expecting, it might not be the type of punishment that will be.
Has any punishment been meted out at all from what?
That one is within our circus, and so we know how to deal with our people when they do things outside their the tax that is given them.
The residents deny attacking the soldiers. Zongo chief of the area, Saki Tairu Abdallah, was on the ground that day.
Old women, children, the community as a whole were there. And you said people attacked you. Who attacked who? If really the military knows that they are coming to visit their land or site, why were they with arms? 3 men with arms. What intention do they have? What negative mind do they have against the community? So they came in arms. They came fully armed with ammo cars. They shot somebody's son down because of a property, fighting for his right. In Ghana, they say democracy, democracy. What is the democracy?
Joy News understands the homicide unit of the Ghana Police Service is also conducting a parallel criminal investigation into the incident, details of which are unavailable. For Joy News, Joseph Opoku reporting.
The deceased, Samuel Darko, tells Joy News the family is unhappy with the outcome of the investigations by the military and plan on seeking justice.
Asked them of how the investigation is ongoing, and they didn't really give us any information, but they said it is still ongoing, so they are not going to make any comments.
So
they never contacted any of my family members, as far as I know.
But now that they're making the point that, as far as they are concerned, their men in killing your brother did nothing wrong, what do you make of that?
I think they would have to come out and boldly declare and explain themselves, because personally I have a lot of reasons, a lot of questions to ask them. If that is what they are saying, why did they go there armed with that group? Why did they go there untagged and they didn't have registration numbers? So all of this means they had a plan. So if they say they were sent on Operation Calm Life duty and they mistakenly or they shot somebody because somebody attacked them, I don't think it makes sense.
Even the claim that someone attacks them, then it gives the impression that maybe your brother may have been among those who may have probably led the attack on them, resulting in such a response. What kind of person was your brother? Do you get the impression he may be involved in anything like this that may end up costing his life?
I know my brother is not like that. And even when we contacted the police station, the ASP said my brother wasn't even directly in any conflict with them, but he was even standing somewhere and just a shot came. So if they claim they were giving warning shots to disperse the people as they brought a press release, how come a warning shot even got as far as somebody's leg? So they would have to come and explain how a warning shot, which we all know goes into the sky, ended up on someone's leg. So they have to really come out. And I personally spoke with the CID, who on the interim had charge over the whole thing. And he said they have some photographs of the place. There were no stones scattered around. There were no sticks around. And when they checked my brother, there was no weapon on him. So how come they are alleging that they were rather attacked first and they had to do that? So they have to explain themselves well.
To some other stories now, and a group known as Concerned Oko Development Youth Association is calling on the acting paramount chief of the traditional area, Nana Esiedo Ajiman III, to publicly retract his endorsement of President John Dramani Mahama for another term in office. The chief last week endorsed the president during his visit to the area as part of his accounting to the people talk, claiming the president has brought a lot of development to the Kwo area. Fantechi Obibini is president of the Concerned Oko Development Youth Association.
Our acting chief had the opportunity to request for more developmental projects for Kwoman when President Mahama was in his outfit, but rather decided to endorse the president for another term in this hardship. Constitutionally, you know, chiefs are not even permitted or allowed to engage in active politics or declare their support openly. Some chiefs did this in some areas or certain towns, and it has brought a lot of divisions among the people within such communities. So we don't see the reason why our chief or our acting chief should come out openly and endorse the president in this manner. If any foreigner comes around, the person will see what's going on here. If there has been this sort of improvement as the chief was claiming, we all know. Fine. We were not saying the president has not done anything. In fact, you can't have a president or a government who will not do any project in a district or in a particular area.
I see.
But what we've seen is it's not enough. And we've also experienced several hardships and sufferings within this or under this government. So we don't expect our chief to endorse the president who has brought all these sufferings onto the lives of his people for another term.
Well, Dean of Graduate Studies and Research at the Institute of Local Government Studies, Dr. Eric Odrosa, is meanwhile calling on the National House of Chiefs and the Commission for Civic Education to intervene and bring to order the acting chief. Dr. Odrosa believes such acts have the tendency to create disunity and chaos ahead of the November general elections, hence the need for immediate action.
I believe that chiefs would have to be very cautious in their utterances, very cautious in their speech. They are supposed to be unifiers. They are supposed to lead people. You know, you don't have to create divisions among the people you lead. The statement the acting paramount chief made, I have listened to it, and I think that if he had mentioned that the current government has brought a lot of development to Oman and ended there, that would have been okay. But if you go to the extent of saying that because of that, you want him endorsed by your people, then it means indirectly you are meddling into party politics, which should not be the case. Again, he should not also be seen to be speaking for a section of society. So the key there is that other chiefs must be very careful. The regional House of Chiefs and the National House of Chiefs should quickly issue out a memorandum or issue out a memo to all such traditional rulers that they should their utterances must be one that will unify us as Ghanaians. They should try as much as possible not to get themselves involved in the partisan politics activities of this country, getting to elections, because it doesn't sound good. You need them. All the major political parties contesting in the elections, in one way or the other, have to visit these chiefs. And if you are to visit a chief who has already taken sides, it makes it difficult for us to unify the country. So my advice is that they should be very careful with their utterances. On this particular occasion, the Council of Elders of Kwauman can speak to the chief and even come out and then also meet with the youth. Because as it is now, the youth may have taken a certain position. The youth may not represent all the youth in that particular area. But I think they constitute a critical mass to be listened to. So the various Council of Elders would also have to take up their mandate and then advise them. But all in all, I would advise the National Commission for Civic Education to as early as possible start doing a sensitization work on the chiefs, working with the National House of Chiefs on this matter. Because if we don't start now and it gets into September, October, way to November, it will not be good for us as a country. When it comes to customary laws and traditional systems, it is deemed that the chief is an embodiment of wisdom and he is the custodian of customary laws. So though the chief can have a way of apologizing to the youth, he cannot do this apology in public. What I would say is that the Council of Elders of the chief should take up the matter and, if possible, come out and make another statement that will seem to be appealing and that will seem to suggest to the youth that the chief never meant what he meant.
You're watching news today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. We're taking a break. We'll be back shortly with some more stories. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. Now, the Wild West District Assembly has banned outdoor music after 6 p.m. as part of measures to check increasing immoral activities among the youth there. District Chief Executive for the area, Adamu Dasana, made the announcement at the installation of the first Queen Mother of the traditional area at Dorimo. Rafiq Salam has more.
The Ministry of Chieftaincy and Traditional Affairs in 2010 enjoined paramount chiefs in the northern belt of the country to install Queen Mothers or their equivalents in their traditional areas in order to bring uniformity to the chieftaincy institution in the country. Several paramounts in the northern belt of the country have since installed their Queen Mothers, or who are better known here as Pona or Halakuru. At a heavily attended colorful ceremony at Durmu in the West District, 80-year-old Hajia Habibata Yakubu was installed as the Queen Mother of the Durmu traditional area with a skin name Habibata Yakubu Kanzuba Sankansuru I. She is married with 6 children and also had 12 grandchildren. Paramount Chief of the Dormo traditional area, Na Danaso Muninya Gore II, who did the installation, assured her of the total support of all chiefs in the traditional area for her to succeed.
It will be necessary for her also to take note that educational standards are falling in the traditional area, especially girl-child education. Coping with this, the issue of teenage pregnancy is on the increase. I'll plead with her to have an eagle's eye and clamp down on offenders.
District Chief Executive for Wa West, Adamu Dasana, announced the ban of record dances in the district after 6 p.m. in order to curb immoral activities among the youth in the district.
The district assembly, the executive committee, on the 6th of this month met and had a lot of recommendations for the adoption of the General Assembly. And one of them that will need the support of traditional authorities is the banning of record dances in all ceremonies and all occasions after 6 o'clock p.m.
Deputy Apo's Regional Minister, Dr. Musebu Mohamed Alpha, appealed to traditional rulers in the region not to resort to violence whenever there is a vacant skin, but rather use time-tested traditional and cultural norms to solve the dispute. Reporting for Dway News, Rafiq Salam, Durmo.
And Rafiq Salam is joining me over the phone lines now with a lot more on that very story. So Rafiq, is it quite interesting, but how does the Assembly intend to enforce this very ban?
According to the District Chief Executive Adamu Dasana, the Executive Committee of the Assembly are really worried about the way things are going, talking about immoral activities. According to them, they think that the outdoor music being played in the district at 6 p.m. serve as a harbinger or breeding grounds for immoral activities. And so they came up with these measures. You also look at some issues which talks about the district being one of the poorest in the country. When we rank 4, as part of the, it's among the 4 districts in the country that are the most poorest in the country. And so, in terms of education, they are not getting the best of results. Child elopement is on the rise. So that the girls' enrollment is on the rise. And so they think that if they bring these measures, it will help. But, you know, I spoke to the people who were at the gathering. They didn't want to speak to me on tape, but they were wondering whether that particular law or that bylaw the Assembly is trying to bring will be able to hold.
Rafiq, is that just the situation with the chief only? I mean, is the chief's concern peculiar, or it's one thing that's running through the minds of a lot more residents in the town?
According to the Wa West district, the executive committee of the Assembly, they are thinking that these are some of the themes that are really bringing the district backwards. I told you about education standards which are fallen. In the Wa West, when we talk about the ranking in terms of education, last year DEC, they couldn't get their pass rate was not more than 30%. And also girls' elopement, you know, people are doing a forceful marriage here. It's also on the rise. And then, you know, in this, where we do this outdoor event, that's where some of these girls are eloped, or that's where people have that opportunity of having these nefarious activities or immoral acts. And so they think that if they put a lid or put a stop at that, it will help. And so that's the reason why they are trying to get this dialogue with. And that's why he's appealing to the chiefs and the traditional rulers in the area to really help to support so that the law will work.
Right. Rafiq, many thanks for that update. And that was Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam bringing us a lot more on that very story. To some other issues now, and a struggle between two families, the Nakpana and the Sana families from the same Bumayili gate in Bimila over who becomes the next king has claimed many lives. Property running into millions of cedis have also been destroyed in the conflict. Bimila has for a long time remained one of the no-go zones in the northern region. The town is under a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. Seth Kwamboating investigates the untold stories behind this protracted chieftaincy conflict. The Hotline documentary Bullets or the Skin airs at 6:30 p.m. on your Joy News channel this night. Here are excerpts of that documentary.
Intense military and police patrol in town to enforce a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew to preserve lives.
Life appears on the surface to be normal, but the undercurrents are still very, very hot. It's unpredictable.
Maintaining the security calm at a very high cost.
From 2012 to date, we have spent not less than 100,000 cedis on just feeding security and also the provision of fuel and lubricants.
Businesses are collapsing.
30 cedis, 300,000. 250, 200.
A chieftaincy conflict in this town is the cause of this. Interveners are struggling to bring the sides together.
From yesterday and today, the high level of mistrust, and that is what is making the parties not able to engage each other in dialogue.
Children are suffering the brunt.
We want peace, no more war. We want peace, no more war.
Deadly violence in Bimila is not new, especially to the elderly in this town. Many of them still have fresh memories of the 1994 Kokomba Nanumba War, which was nicknamed the Guinea Fowl War. It is by far one of the worst conflicts recorded in Ghana. According to some historians, that war claimed about 2,000 lives, displaced at least 200,000 people, and completely destroyed 441 villages. Bimila and its surrounding villages have never been the same since that major conflict. Though there have been more conflicts, also deadly, they come no close to the Guinea Fowl War. Recent disturbances in Bimila started after the death of the king of Bimila, Na Abarika Atta, in 1999. A struggle between two families, the Nakpana and the Dasana families from the same Bumayili gate over who becomes the next king, became a big issue. Spokesperson for the Nakpana, Abu Hassan Idrisu, says the kingmakers mistakenly settled on the former chief executive of Onasia Rice and Dani Dasana Abdullahi, and that triggered the conflict.
All these titles are good titles that he was possessing in Tamale, but they were not titles of Bimila now in Nanumba Kingdom. So he wasn't in the queue at all. Then other kingmakers went behind this leader and held him up as a chief.
So that
brought about the genesis of the today conflict at hand.
The Patihina Azindo Nangtongma, who speaks for the Dasana family, however, argues the kingmakers did no wrong making their son the king of Bimila.
Karkuna kanalelgula ambolle incha kayanam tanirba awe te kayanam manirba awe ko bolti chana lelgo no tamalle.
After the Supreme Court has striked it out as withdrawn, the Naleru chief invited the 9 kingmakers to Naleru to delve into the matter.
I am being led to another place where a widow and her children live. It is a compound house. This is where 33-year-old mother of 3, Adisa Al-Hassan, lives. Her husband was killed in the conflict. Adisa was 9 months pregnant when her husband was shot and killed right in her presence.
They said there is violence in town, but he was working on the garden. Then there was a gunshot and we ran into the room. Then they come and attack us. They pulled him out of the room and destroyed the house and killed him.
Those who did not die would have to live with one disability or health condition or the other after suffering serious gunshot wounds. Ibrahim Tijani is one of them.
We were there passing through the window when the guy shot my junior brother.
So I rushed to pick my junior brother. He shot himself. So
which part were you shot?
My stomach. It was past my stomach here, so they opened it. You see here. You see my leg. Even though my stomach here.
And how many years ago?
No, it's 5 months now.
5 months?
Yeah. It's 5 months now.
So how did you survive?
There is a policeman came and picked me. I was lying down over there when they came and picked me.
And indeed, those were excerpts of that documentary, Bullets on the Skin, which is airing this evening at 6:30 p.m. on your Joy News channel here on Multi TV. We're taking another break here on News Today. When we come back, we'll bring you business, sports, as well as some international updates. Stay with us. And that's how we wrap up our news today this afternoon on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. My name is Kwabna Chenchenibuati. Remember to visit myjoyonline.com for a lot more stories. The Marketplace is up next. Many thanks for your company.